Of the Spring Nationals from Devil's Bowl Speedway in Mesquite, Texas. We are just a few miles from Dallas, Texas. It's a beautiful night for racing. Hello, everyone. I'm Bob Gerald, and this is where it all started for the World of Outlaws. It was back in 1978 when California's Jimmy Boyd took the first ever checkered flag. And now, here we are in the 20th season with the World of Outlaws, proud to bring you live coverage of the Spring Nationals. The pits are jammed, 56 cars, and they have all qualified. And the man who paced qualifying tonight was Mark Kinzer, the defending champion of the series. And Mark, this racetrack a little bit tricky tonight. Tell me about your lap and what you had to do to come away with the number one time.
Well, what I've done is actually just headed toward actually toward the outside and give the car a little bit of a pitch, and got the front end down toward the infield and kind of run to the middle to the high side through 1 and 2, and had to kind of breather a little bit. When we get down to 3 and 4, you just kind of hold it to the floor and run about in the middle and just come onto the checker. And
he ends up with the number one time, quick time. Good luck to you tonight. We'll be watching you all night long, Mark.
All right, thanks for being here.
Now, of course, on Motor Madness, we bring you all the action from here at the racetrack, but we also get to go back to the studio in Charlotte, and that's where Steve Burns and Katie Haas are standing by tonight. I know it's going to be real busy back there at the studio tonight, isn't it?
We're going to be real busy, Bob, and we're glad to be joining you. Looking forward to all the action coming out of course, Mesquite, Texas. Katie Haas and Steve here tonight. We're having a rough time so far, but we're going to get over it. We've got a lot to talk about. Terry Labonte and T-Birds, a man, we're not talking to ones with 4 wheels, no. We're talking about the Jets. He had a great time. We're going to give you a story about that, and I'm sure he's very pumped up about it. We'll talk to Terry about it.
And we're going to meet the wild child. No, not Katie.
No, not me.
Jack Hodenshield. He's the World of Outlaws stud. You're going to see him a little bit later on.
All right. And also, we've got Eli Gold standing by, and he's got a very informative, very stimulating conversation with the one, the only, the fastest name in racing, Mark Martin. That's Mark Martin. We'll talk to him in just a few. A lot of news we're going to get to right now. This weekend, it's a double shot of the track that's too tough to tame. And, of course, the Indy cars are going to be cruising in the desert. Now, last week, Jeff Green, he hit the jackpot in Vegas. He powered his Diamond Ridge Motorsports Chevy to victory lane in the Las Vegas 300. That puts Green right in the thick of the points race. He now stands in 4th, heading into the Diamond Hill Plywood 200 at Saturday in Darlington. But this weekend is a double Busch Winston Cup event, and that means anyone wanting to take the checker flag is going to have to contend with the defending race champion, Mark Martin. He has won 3 of the 4 Busch races he started in this year. He did miss one, though, so he's not quite in the top 5 of the points, but Todd Bodine sitting right there at the top. Phil Parsons, Randy LaJoy, Jeff Green, and Elton Sawyer leads out the top 5. Now, on Sunday, round 4 of the IRL Series begins as the Phoenix 200 takes the green flag. Point Series leader Mike Groff leads by a mere 10 points. Heading into the last race for the 81st running of the Indy 500. Now, also keep an eye on the defending champion, Ari Leyendijk, who has won twice at Phoenix. Well, after a week off, the Winston Cup teams, they are racing on the track that they continually fall too tough to tame. Now, it's the Trans-South 400 from the Darlington Raceway. And that guy, Dale Jarrett, he's moved into first into the points after his win in Atlanta, and he is going to be sitting on the pole this Sunday. Jeff Gordon, he's going to be seeking his 4th straight victory at Darlington. That'd be a record. And here's a little nugget for you. In 16 Trans-South 400s, Mark Martin has 11 top 5s and 15 top 10s for an average finish of 6.1, but he has yet to win one. He's finished second 4 times. There's your point standing. Dale Jarrett at the top, Terry Labonte, Mark Martin, Jeff Gordon, and Bobby Labonte. Let's go over to Steve. I know he's got some big news. Steve?
Katie, let's talk about the Outlaws. One of tonight's stars in Mesquite, Texas, will be the wild child, Jack Hodenshield, who is off to one of his best starts in his World of Outlaws career. After 5 events, the wild child is 3rd in the point standings and looking to move up tonight. When you hit the dirt in the Outlaw Series, you enter the big leagues, playing with the top guns of sprint cars, the Sammy Swindells, the Steve Kinzers, and now the Jack Hodenshields. Currently 3rd in points after just 5 races. The wild child is taking his new Pennzoil car to the fast lane, recording 4 Channel Lock Fast Time Awards already.
As a child, of course, the moniker Wild Child, I think, was started back then. I can remember a couple instances when we were very young. Jack always, people would give him a dare and he would do it. I think probably he would remember this, jumping on his mini bike the one day, and we said, Jack, let's see if you can ride that mini bike up that tree. Well, he decided he was going to try it. Mini bike didn't go up the tree. He went about 10 feet up and got himself busted up a little bit, but that was typical Jack.
I guess the fall was a little too hard for Jack because he remembers the story a little differently.
We used to race at an old rundown gas station. We used to race around the pumps, and we pretty well destroyed the bikes.
He's really settled it down a lot here in the past 5 years. You know, people that know Jack and know his racing there and stuff, it wasn't that unusual for him to go out, tear a car up three or four nights in a row there and stuff. That was just his driving style. It was either put it on the floor and get to the front or crash. That was just his racing style.
It's amazing what age and mortality will do to a man.
You know, when you first start racing, you just go for it. But later on, you just, you know, you try and finish the race.
With the Wild Child teamed up with crew chief Guy Forbrook and car owner Jack Eldon, the Pennzoil Maxim is bound to leap to new heights, perhaps taking Jack and company to their first Pennzoil World of Outlaws title.
I think this year's as good as any.
Boy, that woo stuff sure is glamorous.
You know, you wear that big goofy thing, but you get a big check when you wear it.
I hope so, man. Paper
You
had
have
to
to.
put up in that guard. All right, we're going to get right to it, folks. Look out. World of Outlaws coming up on Motor Madness next. Live. Stay with us.
Motor Madness is brought to you by Pennzoil, formulated for today's stop-and-go driving. Go Pennzoil. And by Polaroid. Watch, wait, and see what develops. And by 104 Plus Octane Boost.
All right, we are back here at the studio in Charlotte. Katie Haas and Steve Burns with us. Steve, I hear you do a mean boss hog.
You want me to do it now?
Maybe later.
Okay.
You know, they just showed that on
I love the Dukes.
Do you really?
I love the Dukes.
We'll check them out. Well, I might want to rehearse that first before we get into it. But let's go on down to Mesquite, Texas. Ralph and Steve are there. Ralph Dean, Steve Evans. I hear you got a question for Ralph that I need an answer for. Sir.
Hey, Ralph, I have always wondered about this. Why do they call them Outlaws?
Well, Steve, we can answer that for you. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Mesquite, Texas, here at Devil's Bowl, the 24th Annual Spring Nationals. Joined, as always, by my good racing pal, Steve Evans. Steve, they got the name Outlaws because they're kind of like a traveling group of banditos and went where the money was.
I always thought they got the name Outlaws because they held up convenience stores to finance their traveling. That's not true?
Not true. They would always go where the big money races were, hit and cherry-pick the big money races and go from there. And then finally, Ted Johnson organized everybody together, said we'll make them all big money races, and we'll go from there. We'll sanction it, put points up. They named them the World of Outlaws, and that is your answer, Steve. Now, you know, Steve Evans and I have both had the opportunities, I'm sure many of you have had, to see lots of different racetracks around this country, Steve. Some of them are a little bit more unique than some of the others, but this place here at Devil's Bowl, one of the most unusual designs for a dirt oval I've ever seen.
I first started coming here in the mid-'80s for TNN's American Sports Cavalcade, and I fell in love with this place for its uniqueness. And for excitement, I rated it right up there with Eldora and Knoxville. And it truly is a bowl designed by the devil. You're scooting along the front main straightaway, 110, 115 miles an hour. Suddenly, turn one up through two goes dramatically uphill. It's almost like a road course. It's the closest thing they're going to come to one. If you had a transmission, you might even try to grab a lower gear. And I think if the moisture stays in this racetrack tonight, it'll be one to remember.
It should be a lot of fun to watch the racing here. And as we've told you a little bit already earlier tonight, this is a pretty historical night here at Devil's Bowl. This is where the World of Outlaws ran that first race with all those banditos together in one place at one time. So let's take you downstairs now to Dave Reeve, who will be running pit lane for us. Dave can bring us up to speed a little bit more on the historical side of this racetrack, David.
You're absolutely right, Ralph. It's certainly going to be a fun night. Now, granted, there is already a race on the schedule called the Historical Big One. But tonight, there's going to be plenty of historical significance as well. This is the 1200th World of Outlaw event that dates all the way back to March 18th, 1978. Who's the winningest driver? No surprise, it's Steve Kinzer. But take a look at these numbers. 413 A-main wins. That's just 34% of the entire schedule. There have only been 65 different winners. That is surprising. And Steve Kinzer, this is a very tough outfit to run with. Only 65 different winners.
Well, it just keeps getting tougher and tougher. This circuit gets stronger every year, and we've had a lot of success, and we always run good here at Devil's Bowl, so let's hope we do it again tonight.
You mentioned success. 10 times you've won here. What's the racetrack like tonight, and what can we look forward to?
Well, the racetrack's not going to be too bad. We had the misfortune of having a tire out balance qualifying, so we had a terrible time, but we're going to be starting from the back, so we're going to have to try to make it up.
All righty, good luck, Steve. Interestingly enough, who's the second winningest driver? Well, that would be Sammy Swindell, some 200 wins behind Steve Kinzer, but He has had one more win here than Steve Kinzer. Bobby Gerald standing by with another fast runner here at the Devil's Bowl.
Oh, that's right. When you come to Texas, you better talk about number 9, Gary Wright, who is batting .300 in the last 10 World of Outlaws races here at this Speedway. Gary, you don't really have a home track, but this place has been awful good to you. What is it about this racetrack?
Well, it really has been. In the 80s, I run here for a couple of years weekly, and we really got to know the racetrack. And, you know, we have been able to beat the Outlaws a couple of times the last few years, but, you know, they're the best in the world. So, you know, I feel like we got a shot tonight. The car's fast, they're fourth quick, and I think we're going to be shooting at them tonight.
He's a very modest guy. He already has 6 wins in 1997. Ralph and Steve, I think we're in for a great night of racing, and heat race number 1 getting ready to go.
Bobby, I couldn't agree more, especially when we look at the lineup of heat race number 1. We have got some heavy hitters here, including Sammy Swindell and Stevie Smith and some art.
Well, here's a look at the lineup for heat number 1. Now, as you take a look at this grid as they roll through it for you, want to let you know the heats will be 8 laps tonight. We're going to take 5 drivers straight to the A main, the top 5. As you see, Terry Gray and Sammy Swindell on the first row, Tyler Walker and Stevie Smith. That car that Stevie and his dad Steve are working on this year in row number 2.
And remember, too, the top 6 are inverted. So the quickest car in this heat is the pole winner. So this big 5M, Mark Kinzer, starts 6th. That's where he should when you invert the top 6.
Well, now, Steve Kinzer, don't forget, missed the inversion because he did not qualify in the fast portion of the deal. So he will start 7th in this one. It's going to be pretty interesting watching that Quaker State number 11 come up through the field. 9 number 1s here tonight.
And a 0-1. So forgive us, folks, if occasionally we misidentify somebody who in the program is number 1.
There's a good look at how they come up into turn number 1 now. And talking to some of the drivers, they said, as you get a look at that beautiful sunset here tonight, that going into turn number 1 doesn't really look that bad. It almost looks like a big bank turn. The scarier part is actually sliding down into 3 and 4.
And look how wide it is on the backstretch. It can really make you feel a little cocky, like you got a lot of racing room. Well, you do. As you come down through turn number 3, however, it starts to narrow up, and it really gets narrow as you get into turn number 1 onto the front straightaway.
Tommy Estes Jr., who will be starting in the 5th position. Actually, that's where he would have qualified. He's going to be back there with Mark Kinzer in that 3rd row. Tommy making his first start of the season, was the winner here last year.
And if you're not in the top 5 in all of these heats, that means you have to go to the dreaded B main. Not directly to the A main, or C main, B main, wherever, depending on how you run.
Sammy Swindell, one of the first times we were on TV there, you see that blue number 1, the channel lock car. Boy, he was awesome fast at Manzanita. But since then, we have not really seen a lot of domination on the tour, and we're getting set for the green.
Here you see the green. Look back 4 cars. That was Steve Kinzer. The number 11 car started just behind his cousin Mark, the Outlaws champ.
Terry Gray jumps out front of this one, and we got one off. That's Paul McMahon. Slides off in turn number 2, and that'll bring the yellow right out.
McMahon came all the way from Oroville, California, only to spin out on the first lap. He's hoping right now that his folks at home aren't watching.
Recently won the NART season opener back home in California. Let's go downstairs to Bobby Gerald.
Well, another one of those guys who was hanging out in California on the Northern Auto Racing Club tour was Tyler Walker out of Santa Clarita. Now, get this. Tyler Walker is only 17 years old. You know what that means. That means that at the very first World of Outlaws race in 1978, Tyler wasn't even a gleam in his father, Bob Walker's eyes, guys.
We've got some other teenagers we'll be talking about tonight. One you'll be seeing for the first time live here on TNN.
Tyler has been seen on TNN in another form of racing as well, behind the wheel of an ASA stock car at IRP last year. He's good friends with Kenny Schrader, and Kenny helped put that deal together.
Is this a designer night for racing? The first full day of spring. The high today here in the Dallas area, about 72 degrees. It's a comfortable 65 right now, and that will help keep some of the moisture in the track. This is an early start due to the Eastern time zone that we have to contend with. So Lanny Edwards and his guys are known for their expertise at creating good racetracks night after night.
And a bit of a family feud going on in that front row. Terry Gray's sister, Amy, Sammy Swindell's wife.
And one of the nicest ladies you'll ever meet, the Pit Angel. I call Amy. You need a Band-Aid or a fountain pen. Amy will have it there first.
We'll try the start once again. Now keep your eyes on that green number. Oh, look at the jump that Sammy tries to take.
Are they going to let him get away with that?
Oh, and we got him spinning around down there at turn number 4, too. The 11 is Neon Hindi, and it looks like Marlon Jones in the 1J, one of the Sonic cars.
Well, Sammy is known for being rather aggressive at the start, and often you prefer Sammy up front where you can't run into the back of you.
Possibly a flat right front there on Neon Hindi's car.
It sure looks like it. You know, over the years, the world of Outlaws, the cars, from a television standpoint, might look very similar, but there's hardly a nut or a bolt that would exchange with those cars of 2 decades ago.
I think we're going to get another look at this. Let's see if we can figure out what happened. Watching the back. Oh, he got into the back of Steve Kinzer and lifted, and then there was no room for Marlon Jones.
Absolutely no room for Marlon Jones. Marlon is one of the 1 cars, 1J to be exact, from Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Now, Marlon is the winner of a very fun race up in Sioux Falls. They call it Cheaters Day. Once a year, you can basically do anything you want to your sprint car. You run what you run, literally. And as an old promoter, Evans, this is right up your alley. And you got to see the winged wonders that these guys come out with. Picked up $4,000 there last fall.
Well, I like the idea of a cheater's race because I would be the dealer for nitrous oxide, which would do more for these race cars than anything else. They'd have another 600 horsepower to go with the 800 they've got. Stay with us, everybody, with the yellow out here at Devil's Bowl. We're going to take a quick break and be right back for more woo action.
Introducing Honey Barbecue. Call them day or night at 1-800-800-ORKIN.
Some of the crazies here in the grandstands at Devil's Bowl, welcoming Motor Madness back to the Lone Star State. We were here earlier for one of our Pro Arena Truck and Monster Truck shows down in Beaumont. This night, it's Winged Wonders, the World of Outlaw sprint cars, having at it here on the half mile.
And this will be take 3 of heat number 1. It's been out on 2 occasions, and we haven't got a lap in the books yet. And interesting up front here, Terry Gray, the 10G car, was the crew chief for Sammy Swindell in the early 80s when he won 2 Woo Championships, Ralph. And you've also said that then Sammy married Terry's sister, and here they are going hammer and tonk right up front.
And Sammy is the winningest World of Outlaw driver at this racetrack with 10 victories. Steve Kinzer is one behind him with 9. Now let's see if we can get it right this time.
If you tuned in a little bit late, it is 8 laps in all of the heats. They'll take 5 directly to the A feature. That's everybody's goal here is to finish in that top 5. 5 is almost as good as a first. And the top 6 have been inverted from time trials. So the 3rd row back are the quick guys.
Tyler Walker sits back there inside of the 2nd row in the black number 35. And it's Stevie Smith alongside of him in the 19. Let's check in with Dave Reed.
Guys, just a quick update from the pits. Both drivers involved in there, Dion Hindi in the 11D and Marlon Jones in the 1J, are back out on the racetrack. They just suffered some flat tires. They put them right back on. Boom, they're out there on the back row.
Well, Terry Gray, that 10 car, has a lot of experience with the smaller 360 motors, 1995 and 96 champion in the ASCS series. But when you come here with a big 410 motor, maybe he doesn't have a big 410 motor, I don't know. He may be trying to run a 360 against the heavy artillery of the Outlaws.
Here we go. Green flag waving and a much better start.
Oh, indeed. Sammy Swindell is the blue car trying to go underneath his brother-in-law.
And he's going to pull it off and lead him off at turn number 2. And now down the backstretch, literally into turn number 3.
Sammy Swindell takes the high line. Gray comes down low. Remember, you got to be in the top 5 at the end of 8 laps.
Right now, 5th position is held by the white number 29, Tommy Esty Jr. Right behind him is the King. They see Steve Kinzer trying to close in.
Kinzer did not have a stellar time trial effort or qualifying effort here tonight. He's not going to even be in the Viper and Dash. So he's got his work cut out for him. He is a bit of an underdog right now, if you believe that. That's the green car that just flashed through your picture.
And Stevie Smith in the black with the yellow number 19 trying to fight his way in. And there's Kinzer's green number 11.
He needs to pick off some positions and needs to do it right now.
Cousin Mark sliding up inside of him. He's going to take another spot away from him. And now Mark will go to work on Tommy Estes on the outside. Mark becoming a proud papa.
Steve Kinzer won his first Outlaw race of the season just last weekend. In fact, 5 individual drivers have won the 5 feature races. Parity for sure in 97.
And that is, what more could you ask for if you're a sprint car fan? It's just been spectacular. Nobody dominating the series this year. Here's Mark's championship-winning working back entry. And the battle continuing. You're looking at the fight for 3rd with Gray and Tyler Walker, and now you go back up front with the leader, the Channellock number 1, the blue number 1, that's Sammy Swindell.
And Sammy has got a huge lead. In fact, almost the length of the front straightaway.
Well, Sammy has run pretty good on our television shows this year. He absolutely dominated the first one we showed you from Manzanita out in Arizona, and seems to be picking up where he left off.
Steve Kinzer, the green car you see right there, does not yet have a transfer position. The Quaker State car is mired right now, I believe, in 6th, is he?
Yeah, he's about to get 5th, though. As he gets inside Tyler Walker, you look at Sammy Swindell. If Steve can hang on, he's got a transfer. Sammy takes the heat win. He's going on to the A-main. Here comes Steve Kinzer trying to hold off the young Charger, and he will beat Tyler Walker back. He'll get credited with 5th. He'll go on to the A-main, but it took a lot of effort to get there.
Well, not for that man. Sammy Swindell showing the kind of style we saw at Manzanita at our first Woo televised event here live on TNN. That was just an outstanding drive by Sammy Swindell.
Well, that's not what the rest of the competition wants to see here tonight at Devil's Bowl. Sammy Swindell winning in dominating fashion. We'll be back.
Just how far do you have to go to get a delicious Eggo waffle all to yourself? Do I have to say Lego? Eggo waffles, part of a good breakfast.
Can't believe that worked.
Who was that guy?
Here's how it works. You make Bisquick pancakes. The Bisquick pancakes make your Saturday morning. Bisquick, make the most of it.
I've seen every card there is. Thousands of cards. Super 8's VIP card. It says, congratulations, your reservation is guaranteed, and you get 10% off. Life's great at Super 8.
Welcome back to the 24th Annual Spring Nationals. The Pennzoil World of Outlaws kicking off heat race number 1 here at Devil's Bowl, Mesquite, Texas. Let's go downstairs now and meet the winner of heat number 1. Here's Sammy Swindell.
And Sammy, you look like you're back to that old form that we saw in Manzanita, kind of dominating so far.
Well, not for qualifying, but last 2 races we've kind of missed there with a Channellock car. So in these short races, it really hurts when you have to start back there. We've been 17th the last 2 nights, and that's not going to help us to start there when the last race went straight through. You know, we've had a good car at the end, but we've got to learn how to qualify, and I'm going to have to figure that out.
Well, this guy's won 10 races here, so guys, I'll bet he's going to creep up there in the top 5 in tonight's A-main.
17th place qualifying effort here, Steve, is pretty surprising when you look at a guy like Sammy Swindell, and qualifying is such an important factor with this series.
In fact, we were talking to Jack Houdenfeld and his crew earlier this afternoon, and they have been puzzled. They have an excellent qualifying setup, but not a race setup. So if you look down the list, Jack didn't qualify all that well tonight, maybe intentionally.
It's going to be interesting to see. Heat number 2 getting ready to roll out. Again, we'll take 5 more cars straight to the A-main. And the STP car of Andy Hillenberg that you see there, he's going to be a player here tonight. And the one reason why everybody says keep your eyes on Hillenberg is because he runs the McCrary tire, which they say seems to really work well here. If there is a track on the World of Outlaw Tour for the McCrary tire, this one is it. Here's your lineup for heat number 2. Lance Blevins, Donnie Crawford, row number 1.
Rick Zeal, the car number 18 in row number 2, alongside Craig Delansky, and don't count Delansky out here, nor Johnny Schatz. Andy Hillenberg, Ralph was just talking about, from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. That's his, nephew, Lance Blevins, who's on the pole for this race.
There's the kid we're going to see for the first time tonight, Justin Bai. Forget about the A. Youngster out of Illinois. Just quit high school basketball season. So now he can go sprint car racing.
And he was the top scorer. He's only a junior in high school and already getting letters from universities talking to him about scholarships. Tonight he might win a little scholarship money himself. Last weekend made his first ever A-main. Let's remember this kid is 17 years old down in Mississippi.
And he's a big guy crammed into that sprint car. He's a power forward back in high school. I'd say, well, heck, he was taller than you, Steve, and you're a good 6'3", 6'4", so he's got to be 6'5", 6'6".
I'm about 6'2", Ralph, but thanks. It's my tie that makes me look taller. My speed racer tie.
He's still a tall kid.
Oh, yeah, and a nice kid.
A lot of guy to cram into a sprint car.
And he carries a 3.7 grade average, or he doesn't race.
the Paducah, Kentucky Rookie of the Year. And the sprint car was justified. Here's a good look at the 96 car. That's Scott Whitworth out of Worthington, Missouri. This should be a pretty interesting field. Lance Blevins, we've seen a lot of good things out of him. A youngster out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, not long ago, just last year when he got out of high school. Now he's a full-time racer on the Pennzoil World of Outlaw Tour.
And he has experienced a whole lot, including some bad crashes in just his first 2 years of racing. Here we go. Heat number 2. You got to be in the top 5.
Blevins leads him in and out of 1 and 2. Donnie Crawford in the black 1H right up behind him, and Donnie Schott's having some problems. One of the drivers chasing the Rookie of the Year points. He's fired way back in the field. Andy Hillenberg up into 3rd.
Hillenberg is that STP car. You see the big sticker up on the wing.
There's Delansky, the 2D. He had great success in Knoxville in the preliminary nights last year. This was his season opening night. That's been behind the wheel of a sprint car. Went snowmobiling last week, and now he's racing a sprint car.
And Lance Blevins, who had been leading this thing, suddenly has some competition.
And you're looking back there. Now you're looking at the fight for the top 3. Hillenberg trying to get up underneath the 1H, and it looks like he's going to make it work. The 1H of Crawford out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And now Andy going after Blevins.
I tell you, the relatives feel a little racy out there tonight. You see how quickly the 2 car there squared off that corner going into 1. That's kind of how Mark Kinzer got the pole tonight.
Let's check in with Dave Reed.
And how's this for All in the Family? As Andy Hillenberg takes the lead, the top 3 cars, Andy Hillenberg, Lance Blevins, and Donnie Crawford, they're all related. We already know that Lance and Andy are cousins, but Donnie Crawford is driving the car that is owned by Andy Hillenberg's dad. So it's all in the family, top 3 right now.
And it looks like there's some smoke coming off of the STP car. I'm not sure if it's just out of the header pipes or what, Steve. It's on the inside, and I can't get a good look at it. We'll have to see what happens.
All of the cars are required to run mufflers here, and you'll see 3 or 4 different brands of mufflers. It may be a little oil can collect in one of the mufflers and start to kind of burn off and create that smoke. Let's hope that's what it is.
Schatz gets inside of McCarl, the battle for 5th.
Last lap.
Terry McCarl loses a transfer spot. Let's see if Donnie Schatz, who had slipped back there at the start, can hang on. Checkered flag falls for Hillenberg. Blevins, Crawford, Steele, and McCarl coming across the line. So Terry McCarl will keep the final transfer spot. Donnie Schatz is going to have to come up to the C or the B, probably the B.
It was nervous time for that driver, the 8H car, and a runaway, really, for Andy Hillenberg. Hillenberg, much like Sammy Swindell, used the heat here to learn a lot about this racetrack because he won't see it again until, well, I guess he'll be in the dash, won't he? But he won't see a whole lot of it. He better know something now to take with him for the rest of the evening. Let's go down to Dave Reap with Dave Blaney, a pair of Daves.
A pair of Daves, exactly. But this Dave over here, he's not very happy. He's going to start on the front row of our 3rd heat tonight. It's not a place you wanted to be. And that means, Dave, you didn't get a very good qualifying effort tonight.
No, we didn't. Just missed it. You know, the only thing we got to do here is finish in the top 5 and try to make the car better for later on. That's all we're after.
You mentioned this is a tough racetrack to race on, so it is important to get into that A and keep getting them points.
All right, Dave, thank you. Dave Blaney becoming a father again just recently. His daughter, Erin, just born on the 12th of this March. The Pennzoil World of Outlaws in action from Mesquite, Texas. We'll be back. World of Outlaws, the Spring Nationals here in Mesquite, Texas. Beautiful Devil's Bowl. And boy, is it getting to be a nice racetrack here, too. They have done a tremendous amount of work to this facility. In fact, that's a big part of it right there. Musco Lighting. Those folks up out of Iowa, boy, they can turn any darkness into daylight. Let me tell you, it is really turned out to be a great facility. And one of the other things they've done here, Steve, is taken out a lot of trees.
A lot of trees, and also the track seems to grow a little bit every year. The corners get wider and higher, making for really a better battlefield. And I have noticed since I was here in '85, this was a pretty rudimentary facility, shall we say. And Lanny has done a fabulous job of building the tower we're in, parking, lots of things for the fans and the racers. And here are the 5 that will transfer directly to the A main coming out of heat number 2. Andy Hillenberg had a huge, huge advantage. And with Andy Hillenberg right now is a second-generation race caller, Bob Gerald.
Thank you very much, Steve. Andy Hillenberg, the winner. And Andy, a good race. You were able to get the pass for the lead, but I think a lot of race fans watching on national television concerned about that smoke there on the left side. What was that about?
Yeah, well, what happened, we had an oil line that was a leak on or loose on the pump, and it filled the header on the outside of the header. It coated it with oil, and then the darn thing caught on fire. And when we got in the pits, but these guys got it out, so I think it'll be all right. The car was working good. Track's really nice, so it ought to be for a good race. So we'll see here in a little while if we can get this STP car up to the front.
All right, a little excitement for him in the race, but not a problem. He will be there ready to go in the dash.
Well, that's good to see that that oil wasn't anything they can't fix and get ready to go. As the cars for heat number 3, and 5 more drivers trying to find their way into the A-Main the easy way, all getting pushed off and set to go racing.
Yeah, there are no starters on these cars. There are no transmissions. There's really no clutch. There's really not even much of a flywheel. It's just kind of so if you want to know, come to the pits and they'll tell you how it all works. But I'm telling you, they just are basically direct drive. About 800 horsepower, they weigh 1,200 pounds or so, an 89-inch wheelbase. They can't even see the front wheels. How'd you like to do that?
And right now, there is no weight rule on these cars. As you see Dean Jacobs taking the Frigidaire car around.
There's big talk of a weight rule for 1998.
Let's go back downstairs to Dave Reedman.
Well, guys, when it comes to winning the race, you got to kind of set the pace down here. You got to try new things, and rather than be a follower, Aaron Berryhill is doing just that in the 97 car, out campaigning a brand new Jenkins chassis that's got a little bit of a difference compared to most of these guys. He's experimenting with an offset motor combination in hopes of trying to get a big bite and moving on to tonight's A-Main. He's got a good chance, though. He's starting outside the front row.
An offset motor combination, kind of taking a tip from the super modifieds we saw at the Copper World at Phoenix this year on the asphalt. Not quite as radical. Nothing is that radical. But I do miss Aaron's beautiful black cars, you know?
Aaron will be running on Sunday as well. He's going to be headed up to Hallett, Oklahoma, where he's going to run an American IndyCar Series event up there on Sunday. He's been doing that for about a year or two now.
And an interesting guy to watch is going to be the number 75 car. That is Gary Brazier, who's picked up Gary Stanton's Mopar ride. He's a 25-year-old Australian who had never seen Devil's Bowl until tonight. He's raced at Knoxville. He ran some of the Pennsylvania races and Ohio races. First time, though, for him here at One Tough Racetrack.
Not the first time he's put his foot into a Mopar, though. He's actually run a Stanton-built Mopar engine down under in Australia.
And managed to beat Steve Kinser. And I said, really, how many races were they? He said, well, he beat me 3 times in white, and I beat him once.
The biggest difference would be the size of the engine. Down under, they would run the 360, and up here, he's been running with the 410. Let's take a look at the grid now for heat number 3. Dave Blaney and Aaron Berryhill up on row 1. There it is. The Mopar on the inside of row number 2, and Johnny Herrera, Hollywood.
Dan Trout Jr., the 1BK car on row 3. Outside of him, son of the engine builder, is Joe Garrity in the 3G car. Pete Braswell and Dean Jacobs back in row 4. They have got their work cut out to bust into the top 5.
Shane Stewart in the 9S and Ronald Laney in the 52 in row 5. The Hurricane, Randy Hannigan in the 1X, and another one of those 9-1s, Dan Oswald, back there as we go on board with our in-car camera. That is the Frigidaire car, I believe, is carrying the... it's Gertie's car, I'm sorry, that is carrying the onboard camera tonight.
And remember, the quickest machine in this heat race is Joe Garrity. Our camera car, 3G, back in row 3, outside of row 3.
And we're set to go green.
Heat number 3 is underway as they power uphill onto that back straightaway.
We got a couple, 3 cars off in turns 1 and 2. There's Dan Oswald in the D1, the Sonic back car.
He was started dead last and was trying to make up some ground and got bit.
We've got the 9S of Shane Stewart over there, and the can't see the other car, Pete Braswell over there as well.
It's always amazed me, Ralph, how even with this kind of damage, by the time the restart occurs, a lot of these cars are back in the fray. Here we can see it develop right at the back of the pack.
Well, Oswald just slides up to get away from the 9S car there, and then once you get over that lip, you're not going to hit much. That's one spot where they do have some barriers, but especially over in turns 3 and 4, you're not going to hit a whole lot, but it does lip over, and there's nothing you can do to catch it.
9S Shane Stewart trying to get restarted. There's the D1 car. He may have too much front end damage to do much with that machine, but like I said, these pit guys are real wizards. Dan Oswald hopes they've got a magic wand to fix this thing.
Dan the Sonic Man. Involved with the Sonic fast food restaurant chain back home.
You may have noticed as those cars were parked up between 1 and 2 how deep the cushion was up there. And hopefully it'll stay that way all night. We'll have 3 racing grooves before it's over.
Dave Reed, you got some more on Dan the Sonic Man?
You mentioned he got bit up there in turn 1. That's just the second time he's got bit already in this race. He had problems right away, pulled into the pits complaining that the car would not pull. They took a quick check of the motor and they discovered that there was a plug wire off. So they were able to fix that problem. And I see they're getting him pushed off over there in turn number 1. Hopefully, Dan Oswalt will get back into this race.
He runs a 2-car operation out of his group over there. Marlon Jones, who you saw back in heat number 1, runs with Dan. They've been together for quite a few years.
And the 1F car, Dean Jacobs, that's another driver that has not ever performed here at the Devil's Bowl before, along with the Aussies.
Looks like just about everybody who was involved got themselves going again. So we should have a complete restart with this group.
Trying to form this back up. This is heat number 3. There are 4 total heats tonight from Devil's Bowl. And Ralph, I missed having you out in California at Paris Auto Speedway. You had a great show out there at a fabulous racetrack.
Well, I missed being there too. I had to run all over Daytona trying to find a sports bar that carried T&N so I could sit there and watch you guys.
And by the way, any of you that saw the Daytona 500 on CBS know what a great job Ralph did in the pits. We were proud, buddy.
Do I give you the check now or wait till the show's over?
Show's over, it's fine. Still circling around here. Starter's got his eye on him. This should be next time they come down out of 3. Restart actually for heat number 3. Now Blaney, who sits inside on the pole, won his first legitimate outlaw race of the season just last weekend. You'll remember at Paris he was disqualified after he won live on CNN for a faulty muffler.
No problems for Dave in turn 1. He's pulling away.
And Aaron Berryhill right behind him. They went the 1BK car. Dan Brown Jr. made a nice move.
And he got a flat left front tire, too.
Yes,
He's
he
done.
did. Yep, he was really aggressive.
Looks like he caught it up on the inside there, and if he didn't tear up the suspension too much, they might be able to get that tire changed and get him back out here. Hard to tell from that angle, but he did a number on it.
He's okay. He gets his arm restraint straps off, gets out of the car. Let's have one more look at it. Watch the 1 car, first car in your picture there.
The black and yellow machine down on the bottom, and he just gets it up on the inside, and it just takes him around.
It looked like something possibly broke on the left-hand side of the front suspension.
Now, he's running a Stevenson chassis. We talked about the Jenkins being unique. This is a oh, he hit the tire, Steve. That's what he did.
He nailed the tire. Now we can see it clearly there.
Yeah, he drilled it, and that's what flattened the tire and probably busted the suspension, I got to bet, underneath there. It probably did a number on that Stevenson chassis. It comes out of Iowa. Don't see a whole lot of those, unless you're in Iowa.
Unless, of course, you are in Iowa, yes.
Well, they're going to bring the 1BK back to the pit area and see if they can get Don Trout straightened back up. The ASCS regular trying to make the show here with the Pennzoil World of Outlaws.
What's in the package?
It's a surprise for my mommy.
About 16 ounces. This must be the new Tostitos Ultimate Garden Salsa, right?
Wow, that's amazing.
It is, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
So these must be...
Now's a good time. Hey, anytime is a good time for new bite-sized Tostitos tortilla chips and Ultimate Garden Salsa.
Now what am I going to send my mommy?
Why don't you send yourself?
Really?
Tostitos, now's a good time.
Remember the days when your car hit the road like it was king of the jungle? But today, your intake valves and fuel injectors are so dirty that your car is running with all the porosity of a kitty cat. Pour in Berryman B12 Chem Tool. No expensive tune-up, no dirty hands, just quicker start, fierce performance, and ferocious power. All for about the price of a bag of kitty litter.
Berryman B12 Chem Tool. It just may be the only tool you need for fierce performance.
Get a grip on it. Tools that built the USA. Get a grip on it. Then you can be the best today. Yeah. When you grip on it.
When you need a grip on life's little challenges, get a grip on Channel Lock.
How do you get this equipment to these troops when there's a river between them? Build a bridge. Problem solving. You need it now in college. Learn it now in the Army Reserve.
I don't compromise on my laxative. I want both strong and gentle, so I choose Docalax.
Docalax is strong. So effective, doctors recommend it most. And it's gentle with comfort coating. Why compromise? Get strong, get gentle, get Docalax.
One of the best names for a racetrack anywhere in the country, Devil's Bowl Speedway, just outside of Dallas in Mesquite, Texas. The Pennzoil World of Outlaws battling it out in the Spring Nationals. Let's go downstairs to Dave Reed.
Well, guys, talking about Dave Blaney, our current heat race leader right now, also the most recent World of Outlaw winner. He's probably had more seat time in a race car than any other driver here, especially outside of a World Outlaw car. He qualified at the Atlanta Motor Speedway for an ARCA race about 3 weeks back, finished a nice, respectable 11th place. He also fit in some time to do some IRL testing. So Dave Blaney, he's had plenty of seat time.
In fact, it was Blaney in the winner's circle the first year TNN ever came here for American Sports Cavalcade back in '84. He won it again in '88. And as recently as 1993, we're talking about the yellow Vivarin number 10 car.
And his crew chief, Kenny Woodruff, was the crew chief and car owner of the first car that ever won a World of Outlaws race, which took place right here.
Well, we got the facts, don't we, Ralph, huh? Monday Night Football's got nothing on us.
They don't have Kevin Eckert.
Motor Madness. Oh, look at this shot. Is that a beauty? You can hear...
Jacobs right there in the Frigidaire.
Listen to the different sound with mufflers. You can hear the internal workings of the motor, the gear drive in the front of it. You can hear it over the exhaust note. Look at Blaney, the Buckeye bullet. Uphill into turn number 1, hugging the low line. He stuttered for just a second there, almost like the motor might have quit, but now it picks up the RPMs. Blaney's flying.
Watch out for the tires. They'll kill you in turn 3. Everybody avoids him. We keep racing. Blaney keeps pulling away. Here comes Gertie. Gertie is in the transfer spot, Steve.
Yeah, he is. Aaron Berryhill cannot begin to match wheels with Dave Blaney.
There goes the 1X of Randy Hannigan. Blaney still leads this one. Then it's Berryhill, Herrera, the Mopar, Brazier, Gertie. Then it's Hannigan and Jacobs behind the 3G car of Gertie.
After watching Gertie time trial, I really thought the 3G car maybe could have moved up a little bit faster. As long as you're in the top 5, that's all you really want to accomplish here. Look at the helmet.
Ever taken a lap at speed at Devil's Bowl? Well, you are now. You're sliding up through turns 1 and 2.
And you can see the left front wheel. He can't.
That's the truth. That wheel just dangles out there away from the driver. Now you're going down into 3 and 4. There's the grandstands coming up on your right. Here comes the Hollywood guy, and he is flying. Johnny Herrera is just hooked up.
I think he took a little tip from Mark Kinzer from qualifying and just pitched that car dead sideways just past the first big white tire going into turn 1. That's kind of the marker.
He's up to second place. He's a long ways behind Blaney, but he's making up ground in a hurry.
And this track is holding up beautifully so far. Those things you see in the lights occasionally are tearaways off the goggles to get a new set of eyes for these drivers once they get covered with dirt.
Back on board with Joe Gertie, son of the famous engine builder. As you come out of turn 4, it really tightens up down there.
Frighteningly so.
Right behind Gary Brazier. Gil Sonner. Look at the brakes flowing on the back side of Herrera's car, or Gertie's car, I should say, as we get down into the turn.
We are on the very last lap here in heat number 3 with Dave Blaney, Aaron Berryhill giving him driving lessons up front.
Here we come to the checkered flag. Here comes Blaney. He's going to get the win and the transfer. Herrera goes with him. Berryhill will take third in the transfer. Then it's Brazier and Gertie. So the Mopar and our in-car are going on to the Game A.
They are indeed, and if anyone needed a boost, like he got with his win last weekend and a good performance here. It's Dave Blaney, who the last time on TNN, it was not a nice evening for him. He won the race only to be disqualified. We'll be right back.
When you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you.
You know, people who like Freedent because it won't stick to most dental work love Freedent because it's soft to chew and deliciously long-lasting, too. That's why they stick with the gum that won't. Non-stick Freedent, the perfect gum for almost perfect teeth.
This is Miracle Grow Lawn Food, the easy way to a beautiful lawn.
It took years to develop these patented granules, but you'll start seeing results in just days.
Miracle Grow promotes vigorous root growth, helps fill in thin spots to give you a thick carpet of beautiful green. If you like what Miracle Grow does for your garden, you will love what Miracle Grow Lawn Food does for your lawn. And now get rid of dandelions and other weeds with Miracle Grow Lawn Food plus weed control.
Wendy's 5-piece chicken nuggets are all white meat and the perfect afternoon snack.
And 7 orders of chicken nuggets.
Oh, only 7 orders?
Yeah, my mom's making a big dinner tonight.
Bummer.
Now Wendy's 5-piece chicken nuggets are just 99 cents every day.
The chase to conquer. A tight competition of made in the USA horsepower, where asphalt tests your nerves and triumph becomes your desire. It's the SCCA Trans Am Series. Live from Phoenix, it's the Desert Star Classic. Saturday, April 19th, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific on TNN Motorsports, the leader in motorsports coverage. The hands have been dealt. The stakes are high. And when you're against all odds, you gotta lay it on the line. It's NASCAR racing. Busch Grand National style. Live from Nashville Speedway is the Bell South Mobility Opryland USA 320. April 19th, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on TNN Motorsports.
Well, we hope you're having as nice of a Friday night wherever you live as we are here in Mesquite, Texas. TNN live from the Lone Star State. These Devil's Bowl fans having a great time out here with us. Let's take you and show you the results now of that last heat. Heat number 3, those are the 5 cars that will transfer straight to the A-Main. Blaney Herrera, Barry Hill, Brazier, and Gertie. Now let's send you downstairs as you take a look at the back half of that field. Go downstairs now to Dave Reef, who's standing by with our winner.
And we call him Mr. Seat Time. Dave Blaney, you did some IRL testing. You raced in ARCA. Do you get anything out of that form of racing that you can apply to this race car?
Nothing, no. It's all different stuff. I guess driving a race car never hurts you, but can't take one much from the other.
Now, back in Paris, the big issue was tires. As we take a look down at your right rear tire, what's this racetrack going to do, and how's that going to affect tire wear tonight?
Well, it's abrasive, or more abrasive than normal, but I don't think it's going to be a problem as far as guys wearing them out and to where they blow out. So, it's just going to be a harder compound and hope they live, but I don't think it's really going to be a factor in the race.
No tires, no factor. So let's go down to Bobby Gerald, who's standing by with Jack Hodenschild.
That's right. The 4th heat race is staging. Jack Hodenschild's going to be starting 3rd in that event. And, Jack, is this racetrack a little bit trickier tonight than normal?
Yeah, the racetrack's pretty slick, and it's a little different than the last time we run here. The track's a little more narrow. They moved the inside tires up on the racetrack, so the racetrack's a little tighter than normal.
There's been some wild action already tonight. We're going to have some exciting, talented drivers in the B main, and this next heat race is awfully loaded. We're going to get to that one in just a few minutes. Up in the booth, Steve and Ralph.
Jack Hodenschild, Pennzoil, Jackpot Junction, back number 22, ready to go. This crowd ready to watch the Pennzoil World of Outlaws continue when we come back.
My grandfather, my father, both my brothers, my kids will probably have thinning hair. Losing my hair was probably one of the most traumatic experiences in my life. But the great thing about Rogaine is You can interrupt nature. You can stop it. It takes 30 seconds. Twice a day. It's easier than brushing your teeth or putting on deodorant. About 4 months later, my wife walked by and she just was, hey, wait a second. You're growing hair. Check this out. It's thicker. It's fuller. It's great. I'm a user for life.
Good morning, starshine. The earth says hello. You twinkle above us, you twinkle below. Splitty, glip, slippy, slippy, lobby, slippy, la, 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 lo, lo. Dabba, slippy, dabba, doobie, abba, dabba, dee.
Well, really, I don't remember a whole lot about it. No one ever knew what it was or didn't think it was going to go anyplace, but here it took off, and here we are today, 19 years later, with television, live television, same place, almost same date.
We're back live here on TNN. I'm Steve Evans along with Ralph Shaheen here in the booth, and I would tell you that Ted Johnson virtually sacrificed his entire life for the World of Outlaws. It's paid off big for him right now, but I think he holds the record for hawking the same wristwatch the most number of times. I mean, it got down to that, eating beans and trying to sell this thing to promoters all over the country. Our congratulations on their 20th anniversary. All right, here for heat number 4, our favorite car. Talking about the appearance now, 7TW Jeff Swindell, flames and all.
If it's got flames, Evans and I love it. Greg Hodnett in the 11H. Jack Hodenshield will be up there in row number 2. The dude, Danny Lisowski, the 1W. And Gary Wright, one of the non-World of Outlaw regulars who could win here very easily tonight.
And he's got another kinsman there. That's Randy, Steve's brother. Gary Wright, as you said, who's a guy that he's the hired gun. Comes in here to mow down the Outlaws and is darn good at it. He's won the last 2 out of 4 times here.
There's Danny Lisowski, the red 1W, and Gary Wright. And we're going to take a look at the in-car camera that we've got as well. And the dude is carrying us that camera tonight.
And the dude's whole family is here. His wife, his daughter, his mom, and they're just having a big time in Big D.
Which means that half of the population just about of Dover, Missouri is no longer there. It's a town of about 102. Danny took me there not too long ago, and it was up to 103 when we went past the population sign. He said, whoa, major change.
We got some great looks out of Danny Lisowski's car. Come on, dude, you can do it. Jack Houtenchild in this field, in fact, starting number 3, was a Dallas winner in 86, 82. He had a horrible crasher along the front straightaway that caused him to redesign the wheel things even.
And we're green in the flame car out front. The Gold Eagle number 7 of Jeff Swindell leading this one right now.
And for your Ford fans, that's a Ford in the leader.
Mike Peters, the Trop Arctic car, trying to make some moves. You saw that going on. Hodnett now slides up into 2nd. And Jack Hodenshield will slide back into 3rd. The Pennzoil car, the Guy Forbrick, turns the wrenches for, comes back on the bottom, and will take the position back.
We mentioned earlier that Hodenshield had been qualifying so well this season. Well, he didn't here, but he looks to be a bit racier. They've been having to settle for 4th and 5th in the A features. Maybe tonight that'll turn on him.
There's Gary Wright, who absolutely dominated down in Florida during speed weeks, winning 6 of 10 events down there this year. And he's 2 for 4 of the last World of Outlaw races here at Devil's Bowl.
He probably makes more money for a guy most fans have never heard of, casual fans anyway, than anybody out there.
Now that 9 car is right. That's what we're talking about as he goes inside of Hodnett. He is running those McCrary tires, Steve, so that may be one of the things that helps him here tonight. We saw what it could do for Hillenberg. Smoking car and all, he got a heat win.
And I believe that's Greg Hodnett right behind Wright.
Absolutely. That's a fight for 3rd right now, and that puts Lisowski in 5th. Peters 1 spot out of a transfer, and we got one with a broken wing there.
Yeah, that's Bobby Ewell. Let's go down to Bobby Gerald.
Well, this year the World of Outlaws have just announced that they will institute a Most Improved Driver Award at the end of the year. One of the leading candidates here, it's awfully early in the season, but is Greg Hodnett, the driver of car number 11H, who had a strong 2nd place finish last week at Houston. And get this, guys, at the end of the year, for being the Most Improved Driver, you can pick up an extra $8,000. That ain't bad.
Now watch this as we go flying back on board with Lisowski. As he goes down the backstretch, watch him in 3. Look at those tires. Remember, he can't see those front wheels. And look how close he gets to those tires as the white flag comes out.
The last lap of the final heat here on a magic night in Dallas, Texas. There is Jeff Swindell, the 7TW car, the Ford of 2 winners racing out of Memphis, Tennessee.
Flames and all will pick up the win. Second place will go to Jack Haudenschild. Wright comes home in third with the McCrarys, and Honda and Lasowski fourth and fifth, wrapping up the transfers, and Mike Peters comes up shot 1 spot.
Don't you know the guys in the TNN mobile unit down here kind of root for the onboard camera cars, right, so that they keep going through the program? You know you do in the truck. You know you do.
There's a good look at that Gold Eagle flame car. We found out earlier today, for those of you that collect the diecast cars, diecast of the 7TW coming your way real soon. You'll see it first, of course, right here on CNN.
Most gas additives don't stand up to 104 Plus Octane Boost. Octane Boost eliminates hesitation and increases horsepower on the street and off the road. 104 Plus Octane Boost kicks gas. Guaranteed. Take no prisoners. 104 Plus Octane Boost.
Get a grip on it. Who's that built the USA? Get a grip on it. Then you can be your best today. Yeah. When you grip on it.
When you need a grip on life's little challenges, get a grip on Channel Lock. Sunday, go under the hood with the show that takes you behind the scenes. Each week, host Chris McClure, Leslie Goodell, and Rick Titus give you an insider's look. NASCAR Garage, Sunday, 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central on TNN Motorsports.
It is no secret what God...
Remember the days when the great country stars always sang a gospel song? Heartland of Music brings them back in country gospel.
Precious memories.
30 classics.
You gotta climb.
Marty Roberts, Jim Reeves, Loretta Lynn. All your favorites.
May the good Lord bless.
But it's not in stores, so order now.
Call 1-800-854-0660. To save COD charges, use your credit card or send check or money order for $16.98 for cassettes or $19.98 for CDs, plus $3.50 shipping to Country Gospel. P.O. Box 94155, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Well, this little one here having a big time now with her family at the sprint car races at Devil's Bowl, the Pennzoil World of Outlaws in action. We've just wrapped up our heat races, and let's show you the results of the last heat, heat number 4. These 5 drivers will transfer on to the A-main. Swindell and Haudenschild, Gary Wright, Greg Hodnett, and the dude, Denny Lasowski, all making it on to the A-main. Mike Peters came up just short. Randy Kinzer, Mike Ward, Bob Weave, and Ray Campbell will have to find another ticket in through the B main event. We'll have that for you in a little bit. Let's go downstairs, though, and introduce you to the winner of our last heat.
Well, it wasn't me. I'm Bob Gerald, but we're going to talk to that guy in a second. It was Jeff Swindell, and here's what he did when he got out of his car. He walked over, and he put his hand on a right rear tire that was here just moments ago, race fans. It's one of those wonderful things that happens in live television. Jeff, did you do that to me on purpose? You put your hand on the right rear tire, and I'm going to ask you, why'd you do that?
Well, I think the crew took off with it before you could turn around and notice it was gone, but, you know, it's starting to wear the tires down pretty hard. It's starting to take a little rubber down. All the tires the rubber off the tires is actually laying down on the track, sticking to the track a little bit. Therefore, it's making the tires stick to the track a lot better. So it's getting a lot faster. It's going to be more of a one groove down on the bottom, but the track's going to be really fast.
Swindell the prankster. You got me that time, buddy.
Yeah, no doubt. And I'd also like to say my wife, we just found out she's going to have our 3rd child this week, or we found that out this week. Not going to have for another 8 months, but I got to thank her. She's already gave me 2, and, you know, I love her to death.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Jeff Swindell, a happy man all the way around down here in the pits.
A little bit more of a gleam in old Jeff Swindell's eyes. That's great. Congratulations to the Swindell family. Well, let's head it back to Charlotte, where Katie Haas became a mom not too long ago.
Yeah, actually it was about a year ago now, Ralph. So it will be a year this Monday. That's great. I'm glad you asked. And He didn't really ask. He's just stating a fact, I
He
guess.
just said it.
Who knows? Ralph and Devil's Bowl was, we're here eating chocolate almond bark and working hard, aren't we? Yeah.
Kind of like working.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Well, Steve Burns with me promises to do the Boss Hog sooner or later. I know you're going to be hanging on for that. But we've also got Eli Gold here.
Eli, who are you going to talk to tonight?
Mark Martin is the guest subject this evening. I spent earlier in the week down in Daytona Beach, Florida, and Mark and Arlene and their son Matt have a beautiful home.